Hey everybody, welcome to Bones Collector. We just finished playing Unmatched Adventures, Tales to Amaze. This is from 2023. It's designed by Jason Hager and Darren Reckner. And it's published by Restoration Games. And it says right here on the box, the characters and heroes that are in the box and the villains that are in the box. This is a cooperative, battling, hand management game. And it's a lot of fun, isn't it? It's for 1 to 4 players. It says 20 to 60 minutes. I mean, it
20
takes,
minutes would be quick. I don't know how you do that.
Yeah.
I'm going with 60
That's
minutes.
goofy.
Yeah.
In that 60 minutes, and I'll talk about it,
Yeah.
you're going to be thinking hard. 222 cards, 6 miniatures, 2 battlefields, because you got another side of the board for the Martians. But yeah, this is a cooperative game, a 2023, so it's kind of new. The Unmatched series, if you're not familiar with them, are head-to-head 1v1 games where you're going to battle against an opponent with a deck of cards and miniature that you're going to move around the
Exactly
table.
this stuff.
Yeah. And let's talk about this publishing of the game. It's a nice publishing job. A really nice
box is sturdy.
Is really sturdy. And let's see here. I want to show you the insert. The insert's really nice, and it has a place for everything in here. But the cardstock is nice. It's not linen, but it's good cardstock. But I think you might want to sleeve this game if you're going to keep it and play it a lot, because you're shuffling these cards over and over again. So I'm not a fan of sleeved cards when you're doing a lot of shuffling, but in this particular case, it might be necessary. But nice insert. And the board is kind of thin. It's kind of that mass-produced board that you got in Horrified and that kind of stuff. So it's not too bad, though. It lays flat, that's all I ask. The instruction manual is a cool looking,
Looks like a
comic book. Yeah, it looks really sweet. And even the book that tells you about your heroes looks like an old comic book, so that's pretty cool. And it comes with a rule book of the regular Unmatched series that you need to have to supplement the learning of this game, because there's some things that aren't in this cooperative
It assumes you know how to play.
It assumes you know how to play it, yeah. I don't know how I feel about it. I kind of wish they would have written a rule book just for this, for people who are just going to buy this. Because what happens is you're going to come up to things and you're going to say, well, what's the rule for that? You'll go into the regular rule book and it's not there. You have to go back and read the other rule book and find the problem or the rule that that's going to explain what happens in that situation. So I kind of wish they had taken the time to make a rule book just for this game. And making
a complete rule book.
Yeah, not assuming that anybody knew anything about the Unmatched series. I would have liked that much better. But I mean, I give this a really high rating for publishing. I mean, they did a nice job. I mean, on a scale of 1 to 10, it was definitely like an 8.5. I mean, it's a nice job publishing. And the only reason I marked it down a little bit, the board could have been a lot prettier. It does nothing to really draw you into the universe that you're in. So I think if this was a gorgeous board, like say something like Merchants of the Dark Road or something, it would really draw you in a little more. And then they didn't paint the miniatures. I mean, there's only 4 of them. I don't know why they didn't paint them. They do have a wash on them, so you can see the details a little better and you know who's who. So that helps out a lot. And the Mothman and the Martian miniatures, the villains, are really nice. The Mothman has bright red eyes and some like plastic wings that are like a dark gray, and then he's washed also. And you got this cool little spaceship thing. And we haven't played this guy. This guy's going to really be hard to beat, but it comes in apart in order to fit it in the box. But those are cool little miniatures. You get 6 minions in the game. The tokens are nice chunky acrylic tokens, which is pretty cool. The life trackers are all very nice. This is the Mothman. It's pretty sweet, isn't it? Hopefully that focuses in. That's the Mothman's life tracker. And then each hero has a life tracker of their own. Plus some of the heroes have sidekicks that they're going to travel around with. But yeah, as far as publishing is concerned, they did a really nice job. I wish they had just went, the extra mile and made the board, even a little bigger and prettier, and painted these miniatures that are in the game. It just would have lent itself to a much more immersive experience. I don't buy those games with gray plastic miniatures in them because of that. It detracts from the game. They just drop the ball a little bit. Even the Doom tokens are really nice. They're acrylic. And in the Kickstarter, it has these like
they're moths.
Moths. Yeah, for the Mothman, for the Doom tokens, and those aren't near as nice, I don't think.
They're big. They're too big for the
Yeah,
cards.
these little acrylic tokens. On one side, they're the Doom tokens for the Mothman. The other side, they're the Doom tokens for the Martian. They got the green eyes and red eyes, depending on what villain you happen to be battling. Yeah, I mean, there's every component in this game is pretty nice. It's nicely done. For the price point, I mean, it was $45 from Game Nerds?
Don't remember.
I'm pretty sure.
So.
I think it was $45 from Game Nerds. So that price point for what you're getting in this box is pretty nice. And is that everything about the publishing? I talked about the cards. These you have, initiative cards are the same stock as the regular playing cards, and the life trackers. I think I've talked about everything. Yeah. Okay. Now let's talk about the game. In this game, of course, the object is to defeat the boss, the villain, and you're going to have two of them in this box: the Mothman and the Martian invaders. So those are the two that you're going to play against. Now they're going to, depending on the particular boss that you're playing. I think you always have minions that go with that boss depending on the number of players. So if you have two players, you're going to have two minions that are also going to be teaming up with that boss to go against the players.
But you pick which.
You pick them. And if you have four players, you're going to have four minions. I don't know how that would be.
Does it work like that?
Yeah. The goal of the game, in order for you to win, is to get the life tracker of that villain down to 0, and you've won the game. And
it starts at 10 times the number of players.
Yeah, and it's hard to get it down. But you have also these amazing event cards that can make the game a lot more difficult if you want to introduce them, and you pick 1 to 3 of them to introduce into your game to make the game more difficult, so it's scalable. Now, I do want to tell you this. I don't know if I would do that. I mean,
we're not good at this game.
This is the third time we've played this game against the Mothman. First time we got annihilated. Second time we barely won, but we did some things wrong, and we said, let's play it again. So this time we played it correctly, and we did defeat the game, defeat the Mothman, got the victory, and it was close, but not real close. I was down to 6 life, and out of 14. I don't know how you were. Oh, you were in good shape.
Yeah.
Maybe your little sidekick, Charlie.
My sidekick was down to 2. Like 2, yeah.
But the game is very difficult. It's hard. I mean, it's a tough game to play. We're experienced gamers, and we had a tough time. I mean, you have to really...
But we're not familiar with Unmatched.
Yeah.
It might have helped if we had been.
We're not familiar with Unmatched. Because they were competitive games, and it just didn't appeal to us. The only one I was interested in was Cobble and Fog because it had Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson in it, and we ordered that because you can use all those unmatched figures in your competitive game in this cooperative adventure if you want to. So that's pretty cool. I think that's awesome that you can do that, and vice versa, I believe.
Yeah,
so you could use these head-to-head.
You can use those in the head-to-head game, yes.
So that's pretty cool. I really like what they've done with this game, and it's super fun, isn't it?
I had a blast.
Yeah, it's a fun game.
Even the game we lost, I had fun.
Because you are going to have to take that's why the hour game time, 20 minutes, unless you are super fast.
Unless somebody's really good
thinking.
at it.
I mean, we had to go over things. Now, wait a minute. This is my power. I got to make sure I do that. At the end of my turn, every turn, I got to recharge one of my tokens. I was Nikolai Tesla. and Nikolai Tesla, at the start of the game, I start out with one of these coils charged, and at the end of my turn, at the end of every turn, I charge one of these. Well, I have to remember to do that because they come in handy with my deck of cards. A bunch of them have effects at the bottom that I can spend 1 charge token and 2 charge tokens to do, and you're going to need those. So you have to make sure that you're recharging that 1 token at the end of your turn because that's huge. And then every one of these characters, these heroes, has a special power. Lori's had Annie Christmas, and if she was doing an attack and her health was lower than the villain or minion that she was attacking, she got a +2 attack. So that you have to do those things. You have to do those things. And one of the mistakes we made was you have these bridges that are on the board, and the Mothman, his objective is to destroy all 4 of those bridges, and when he does that, you lose. And as you go through the game, Doom tokens will be appearing on those bridges, and it adds to this threat track and makes that go up farther. And then the only way to get these Doom tokens off this bridge is to get adjacent to it and discard a card, And on the cards, they all have a boost value on them. This one's 4. I think it's from 1 to 4. I think as high as they go. And depending on the boost value of that card, you can remove that many tokens off that bridge. And we played a game where we would only take 1 regardless of how much the boost value was. We forgot about that rule. And
that killed us.
It killed us.
Yeah. So we figured out about halfway through, hey, wait a minute. We're leaving all those tokens on there.
That was murderous. Yeah, I mean, this is a game that we probably wouldn't have liked maybe 10 years ago.
Probably not.
But we've gotten accustomed to these kinds of games, fighting games. This is a cooperative one, so you're working together, and that's kind of nice.
I don't know. I'm kind of looking forward to trying Unmatched against each other. I don't know.
Because we have some games where we're, on Dungeons and Dragons Onslaught. Which I love, but this game is a lot of fun to team up and try and defeat that villain. You get a player aid, and it tells you what to do on your turn, and that's really helpful. And again, when you're playing this game, you have to pay attention to what you're doing, and that's why that 20-minute playtime is on the box. I don't know what they're talking about. You have to pay attention to what those card language is, and understand what it means, and to do that, it just takes there's a learning curve to it. This is not an easy cooperative game. So if you're looking for a game where you're going to roll over the villain, it's just not going to happen. And again, if it would happen, you could use these amazing event cards and really brutalize yourself. You could make it so you can't win. And that's the point of a cooperative game, is to be challenged. A good cooperative game, in my opinion, you'll win half the time and lose half the time. I like that. It's just enough to make you feel good when you win, and you are winning enough to make you want to play the game. If you're winning 1 out of 10, that's a little bit too steep. For me, I want a more success rate than that, a higher success level.
It's 2.15.
2.15? Yeah, it just feels harder than that.
Well, I think it's just because we're not familiar with this kind of game.
I think 2.15 refers to the complexity of the rule set.
Yeah.
It's not that complex, but it's hard to win. But it's a lot of fun to play.
But like you said, even the game we lost, I had a blast playing it.
Yeah. I appreciate the small board. I just wish it was prettier.
Yeah.
This board was a little bit bigger. I would have put up with that with some better art. I think it would have enhanced the game a little bit. Because for me, I've learned to appreciate that when they put an attractive board on the table. And then to have these miniatures painted would have been very nice. And you're just simply moving around this board, and there's more than one color on some squares, and those are called zones. So when your heroes either have melee or they have ranged, and if you have ranged attack, you can attack somebody that's just in that color, no matter how far away they are. And if you're melee, you got to be right next to them, right adjacent to them. So that's the difference there. And so if you've played similar games like that, you probably know what I'm talking about. And here's the thing. If they had made this game with the rule book 100% about this game, I think it would have been a little more friendly for new players to the Unmatched series to pick this game up and play it. Because a lot of people don't like that head-to-head combat, and they probably stayed away from Unmatched. And then they introduced this, and people who aren't familiar with how it works, they need a rule book to help them through that. And it does a pretty decent job telling you what to do, but you still have to refer back to the original Unmatched rules to understand everything and how to play the game. So it's a little bit disappointed that they chose that path, but whatever. I mean, maybe they felt like that was too much work or something, or too expensive to print a rule book just for this game. But that would have been nice. And then, of course, you have all your minions will have initiative cards, your villains will have initiative cards, and the players will have initiative cards. And some of those initiative cards for the minions...
That one for the Jersey Devil was terrible.
Oh, this one, initiative card for the Jersey Devil, which is one of the minions we had in this game. Each player with a fighter in the Jersey Devil's zone. And that's just the same color. So if you were in the same zone as the Jersey Devil, discards cards from the top of their deck, cards you haven't used yet, from the top of your deck equal to the threat level. Oh my gosh, and right now our threat level is 4. That hit me twice, and it was up to 3. I lost 6 cards.
And you don't reshuffle your deck.
Yeah, and you don't, that's another thing we had to get used to. Part of your turn, the turn structure, you have 3 different actions you can take. You can take 2 of the 3, and one of them is draw a card and then move your fighter. Well, that's the only way you're going to get cards for the most part, is drawing that one card when you move. And so you have 30 card deck, and then your hand gets down sometimes to nothing. And you're going to have to move to get cards in your hand. And that gets pretty brutal sometimes.
I had a couple cards that would let me draw if I took damage.
Yeah. There are cards that will allow you to draw cards. Plus we had a bridge, but the bridge would let you draw cards up to 4 in your hand. Well, you want to be down to nothing. You want to have one card in your hand because you got to discard a card
to use the bridge. So you discard the card and then you would draw 4 cards. That was nice. But you didn't, if you were down to 2 cards, you go over there, you only get to draw 3. You didn't feel like you were being efficient. But it still worked out pretty well. But I like the game a lot. I like it as much as I thought I would. When I was watching it played on YouTube, I had to think about it quite a bit. And I thought, you know what, I think we'll really like this game. And it was harder than I thought it was going to be. Was it for you? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was harder.
Yeah, it was harder. Even though I'd watched it, I thought, well, it's not that bad. But after playing it, I'm going to tell you right now, yeah, you're going to be challenged. And you can, like I say, if you think it's too easy, which I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. This other side of the board, this Mothman's the easiest villain. This guy is really tough. And so I can't wait to play and try and defeat that guy.
Defeat that thing,
yeah. And the 4 heroes you get are Annie Christmas and her sidekick Charlie, the Golden Bat, Nikola Tesla, and who's the other one?
Dr. Jill Trent.
Dr. Jill Trent. She has a sidekick.
Daisy is her sidekick.
Okay, so 2 of them have sidekicks and the other 2 don't. But we got the Unmatched Cobble and Fogg coming, so we'll have Sherlock Holmes and Watson, Dracula, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. That's 2.
And Invisible Man.
And Invisible Man.
Yeah.
So yeah,
we're looking forward to playing those against the Mothman.
Yeah, I want to play those
playing
characters.
those against each other, maybe. Who knows?
So yeah, okay. I won't. I'm rambling. Again, let me see. I want to show you one more thing. Yeah, the Martian invaders. This is their life tracker. That's kind of cool, like a spaceship. I mean, they did a nice job publishing this game for the price point. I mean, it's not a real expensive game like you would expect. And that's kind of nice. I just wish they would have went just a little bit further. I'd rather paid $60, had these painted, and a nicer board.
But that board looks like all the Unmatched boards.
It does.
They're all like that. They're just a little board with circles. That's their boards.
I know, but I'm prone to want things my own way. So
that.
Okay, that, ladies and gentlemen, is Unmatched Tales to Amaze. Very nicely done. And it's a ton of fun, and that's why we play board games, is to play and have fun at the table. And this game delivers in spades. So we really, really love that. Want to tell you about it today. Make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't already. Please do that. Those likes mean a lot to us. Yeah, I love every one of you. Keep on board gaming. It's the best hobby on the planet because of games like Tales to Amaze Unmatched. Unmatched Adventures Tales to Amaze Unmatched. Yeah. Heroes versus villains. Yeah, cooperative adventure. Try it. Bye-bye.